In this video, I'm going to show you how to make an Upwork portfolio without experience in your field of work so that you can stand out and get jobs without having to get jobs to build your portfolio, right? It's the situation you've probably seen the memes where it's like you need experience to get a job, but to get experience, you need a job. Well, it doesn't really work like that with freelancing, because in freelancing, the good thing is that you can showcase experience that doesn't come from getting jobs. And that's actually the trick to be able to start working and get jobs easily by having a good portfolio without having to go get jobs to build that portfolio. So the way you do that is that when it comes to projects as a freelancer, the client does not need proof that you have been paid to do a project for them to be able to evaluate your portfolio and notice your level of skill, especially if you are something like an illustrator or a graphic designer, where the key factor when it comes to how good you are, which is the visual quality of your work, is really easy to evaluate for a client. So you don't really need to have been paid for a client to see your skill. It's going to be more difficult for people working in fields like being like a lawyer, doing some cybersecurity, or other fields where what you build is not inherently visual and easy to evaluate by common people. But there's ways to still build a good portfolio without having to go get jobs and be able to stand out, even if what you do isn't visual. But imagine you're a client and you're looking for an illustrator for children's books. Like maybe you're building a children's books and you need illustrations for your book. Well, it doesn't really matter to you if you see a good freelancer who has a portfolio filled with good images that would be perfect for a children's book. It doesn't really matter to you whether or not these images have been made in their free time or because they've been paid by another client. As long as you can see that this person is qualified and has the skills, you're still going to want to work with them if their price is good for you and that you feel like their value is worth it. So the way that you want to build your portfolio is very easy. You know, when you learned your skills, when you became a graphic designer, when you became a web developer, a web designer, a data scientist, when you became whatever you are as a professional, you have practiced your skills, hopefully, to develop them not just in a conceptual level, but actually in a practical level, and develop the ability to use your skills in the real world and get results. And so maybe you already have all the projects done that you need for your portfolio. You know, some of you went to school. You can use some of your school projects as your portfolio. Some of you just did practice projects on your own. Well, that can work as well for your portfolio. I mean, when I got started as a web developer, the portfolio that I used was just the projects that I did in my course as a web developer when I was learning web development. So sometimes you really don't need to go do extra projects, but for some people, maybe you feel like you don't have enough projects to showcase your skills that you've already done. And so it's possible that maybe you're going to have to go do some projects just for fun, just to build your portfolio. Like my ex-girlfriend, when she started on Upwork, what she did is she wanted to do some logo design. She was an artist, and she did not have examples of past work as a logo designer because she'd never had jobs as a logo designer. But she's an artist, so she just drew a couple of logos to give examples of what she could build. And, you know, it's a project that she decided to do specifically to have something on her portfolio, and it's absolutely something you can do. Upwork is not going to double check whether or not you did that project for a client, and even then, there's a lot of successful freelancers on Upwork who are top rated plus, some of them charging over $40-50 an hour, who have portfolios when starting out that were just portfolios of projects that are clearly projects not done because they've been paid by a client. For example, I've seen a web developer like today he was a top rated developer, And his portfolio had basically two items on it, and one of them was just a website that had Nike products on them. You know, the shoes company, the sports company, Nike, the big brand. Like, obviously, this person had never been given a job by Nike, but they decided to build what in their estimation could be a cool website to showcase Nike products. And although it's like a fake job that he didn't get paid for, he still used this as an opportunity to show what he can do as a web developer / web designer. And you can do that. Like, some people create a Netflix clone, some people create a clone of whatever apps. Obviously, they don't build all the functionalities, but you know, if you're, for example, a designer for user interfaces for apps, you can actually just create a clone of maybe not a designer, but like a developer. Like, you can create a clone of a well-known app to showcase your ability to create into code exactly what maybe the client is going to give you as a design document in PDF or whatever format they have. Just showcasing the fact that you can do something perfectly in a functional manner is a good way to showcase your skill if you're a programmer, for example. So you can figure out projects that you could do to be able to showcase your skills on your portfolio if you don't already have the projects you need. Of course, as you are going to get more clients as a freelancer, you will do jobs and you will have more things to put on your portfolio, but it doesn't mean that right now you can't start with what you did when you learned in college or learned in whatever online courses or self-study program that you built for yourself. So when it comes to the presentation of the portfolio, one of the things that is really important is that you don't just want to have cool projects on your portfolio, projects that showcase your skill. You also want to be able to communicate what you did in those projects, what the challenges were, and what skills you had to use and that sort of thing. A lot of freelancers, you're going to see the mistake they do is that they just create a one-line description of the project that barely describes anything, and they just give like a quick photo. For example, maybe they say that they've built an application, a shopping application, and you just see a photo of a homepage with like one line of description saying, I built a shopping app. Like, okay, well, how much of it did you build? It's not clear to the client what you did in that. It's not clear to the client that you did the design or whether or not you didn't. It's not clear to the client what you coded, what technologies you used. There's so much more that you can share about what you did to the project to convey what skills you have, instead of just putting a picture which, you know, the more you share the details of the project, the more it proves that you actually did it, because you end up saying things and talking about things that normal people are not aware of. And so what you want to talk about when it comes to your project is mainly a couple of things, which include like what the project is. A lot of people take too much time talking about, you know, if they do a project for a company, talking too much about what the company is doing, what the company is about. For example, if you build a fake website for Nike, well, you don't want to spend a long paragraph talking about what Nike is, what they do, and then almost not talk about what you did. You know, the client is not looking at your portfolio to know what the companies you want to work for or worked for do. They want to know what you did, what you can do for them. So you want to talk a little bit about, you know, if you work, for example, if you build a website for a bar, you can talk a little bit about what the bar is like and what kind of vibe they want to convey, and, you know, how they stand out to other bars. And then you want to talk about how you managed to translate that into your project. And you want to talk about, you know, what were the challenges, what the technologies you used, how you built the project, whether or not you had to work with other people, how it went. And you know, clients are mainly wondering whether or not they should hire you. They ask themselves things like, hey, what level of skill does this person have? What are the things that they can do? What are the advantages that this person has over other people? And you can showcase that through describing the project and the solutions you were able to find. And also you can share, if you later on, when you're going to be working with real projects, you can start sharing exceptional results that maybe you've given to clients. For example, if you do Facebook ads and you've helped one of your clients get tremendous results, you can start talking about that in your project description. And for some of you, I understand you have another problem, which is that you are maybe a lawyer, an SEO specialist, or maybe a cybersecurity expert, and what you build is not visual stuff. So you're not sure like what you're going to put in your portfolio beside the description. And one of the things that I've seen done that is pretty cool is just that there's websites like canva.com, canva.com, that allow you to create documents, which are, files like in Microsoft Word, these long text files that you can add elements like images and whatever. You've probably used like Open Document, Google Docs, or Microsoft Word before. You know how it works. But Canva specifically is really cool because it allows you to create these Word documents, well, the equivalent of Word documents, that have really cool, beautiful design. And what it allows you to do is that you can just, instead of just talking a little bit about what the project was in the description, you can use these Word documents to talk about the project in further detail, so you can create the equivalent of some sort of PowerPoint presentation, but in like a document format, so that you can share like every important piece of the project, like what you did, what the challenges were, what technologies you used, like what the results were, and all that sort of thing, that you can give a summary of what the project was and give more insight to the client about what you were able to do, what technologies you used, what solutions you found, what the problems were, and how you overcame them. So this is how, in my opinion, you want to start building your portfolio if you're a beginner and you have no experience in your field on Upwork. First of all, you want to look at all the projects that you've already done. Because even if it doesn't look like it's an amazing project that will make you look like the best developer or best freelancer in your field in the world, like, it doesn't matter. A lot of clients are willing to give a chance to beginner freelancers, and it makes you seem also, in some sense, very transparent and trustworthy, that you're willing to show your projects even though they're not perfect. So I want to encourage you to really look at what you've already done, and don't be too critical about the level of quality. Like, sometimes things that you feel are pathetic or not good are things that actually other people will find really impressive. For me, I can listen to someone who's been playing piano for 2 years, and I'm going to be like, wow, it's amazing what you can do. And for them, like, they're going to be playing and they're going to be feeling in their mind that, oh man, they feel like they suck. They feel like they're really bad at piano because they always compare themselves with people who are at a higher level, and that's how it feels when you're actually invested in learning a specific skill like piano or guitar or martial arts, combat sports, or soccer. Like, we look at any professional player in soccer, and we look at them and we're like, man, they're so amazing, but a lot of their experience is feeling like they're bad because they see themselves making a lot of mistakes. But you have to understand that your clients are not experts in your specific field. For example, if you're a designer, well, maybe you don't feel like your designs are that amazing, but the client is not a designer, so he can't do things that are remotely as good as what you can do. So maybe what doesn't seem impressive to you can be impressive to them. And once you've identified projects that you have, if you have them, if you don't, you can create projects just for the purpose of having things on your portfolio. Then what you want to do is that you want to share the project in details, making a good description of the project that talks about what you did, what you had to do, what were the challenges, a little bit about what the company that you helped, or the theoretical company that you helped, is about. Mainly like what technologies you use, what were the challenges, what were the solutions you found, and details about what you did for the project mainly. So that's how you build a portfolio without experience on Upwork. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. With that, Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, found it valuable. Subscribe for more videos on how to be successful as a freelancer. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next videos. Take care.